You know what's wild? Most families in Austin have no idea that residential care homes even exist. They think their only options are big assisted living facilities or staying home with 24/7 caregivers. But there's this entire world of small family style homes that offer incredible care at often lower cost than traditional facilities. And honestly, some of my clients end up loving residential care homes more than the big fancy communities. Why? Because sometimes smaller really is better. I'm Stella Williams, Senior Placement Advocate and founder of Williams Senior Transition Services right here in Austin, Texas. And welcome back to Navigating Senior Care with Stella. Today we're talking about the option nobody tells you about, residential care homes. And trust me, after this episode, you're going to wonder why more people are not talking about this. All right, so let's start with the basics. What is a residential care home? Picture this, it's a regular house in a regular neighborhood. Could be a ranch style home, could be a two-story. From the outside, it looks like any other house on the block. But inside, it's been specially licensed to provide assisted living or memory care services to usually between 4 and 16 residents. Think of it like this. If traditional assisted living is like living in a hotel, a residential care home is like living with a really attentive family. You get a bedroom, usually shared with one other person, though some homes offer private rooms. You eat meals together at a dining room table. You watch TV in a living room that actually feels like a living room, not a lobby. The big difference, the staff to resident ratio is dramatically better than larger facilities. In a big assisted living community, you might have one caregiver for every 15, 20 residents. In the memory care, it's 8-to-1 ratio. In a residential care home, often it's one caregiver for every 4 to 6 residents. That means more attention, more personalized care, and honestly, more time for your loved one to actually connect with their caregivers. And y'all, this is the kind of detail I help families understand every single day through my placement services because these nuances, they make all the difference in finding the right fit, not just any fit. Who runs these homes? Now, here's what's interesting. These are licensed through the same state regulations as assisted living facilities. In Texas, they're regulated by Health and Human Services Commission. The owners are often families who've been in healthcare or caregiving for years. Sometimes they're former nurses, sometimes they're people who cared for their own parents and realized they wanted to do this professionally. What they are called. You might hear them called different names: residential care homes, board and care homes, family care homes, personal care homes, or adult family homes. Don't let that confuse you. They're essentially the same concept: small home like environments providing personal care services. And y'all, I'm going to be real with you. When I first started doing placements, I honestly didn't pay much attention to residential care homes. I was showing families these beautiful big communities with fancy amenities and activity calendars, but then I had a client, Miss Margaret, who was miserable in a traditional assisted living. The noise, the crowds, the institutional feel, it was too much for her. We moved her to a small residential care home with 6 residents. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that she bloomed. Within 2 weeks, she knew everyone's names, residents, and staff. She was helping fold napkins for dinner. She had real conversations instead of just sitting in the lobby watching people walk by. That's when I learned biggest isn't always better, and that's why I make sure every family I work with know about all their options, including these hidden gems. So let's talk about who really does well in these homes, because they're not for everyone, and that's okay. But for the right person, they're absolutely perfect. Ideal candidates. Number one, people who are overwhelmed by large environments. If your loved one gets anxious in crowds, struggles with noise, or feels lost in big spaces, a residential care home might be the answer. My mom, for example, would do terribly in a community with 100 plus residents. The activity room chaos, the dining room conversations overlapping, that would trigger her anxiety and confusion immediately. In a smaller home with just 6 to 8 other residents, that overwhelm disappears. It's quiet, it's predictable, it's manageable. Number two, people who need consistent caregivers. In larger facilities, you might see different staff every shift, but in residential care homes, you often have the same 2 or 3 caregivers rotating. Your loved one builds real relationships. They recognize faces. They know who's coming in. That consistency is huge for people with dementia or anxiety. Number three, people who want more personalized attention. Look, in a building with 80 residents, the staff is doing their absolute best, but they're stretched thin. They can't sit and have a 20-minute conversation about your dad's fishing stories. They can't spend extra time helping your mom pick out her outfit for the day. In a residential care home, they can because they're caring for 6 people instead of 20. That extra time makes a massive difference in quality of life. Number four, people in early to moderate dementia. Many residential care homes specialize in memory care, and because the environment is smaller and more controlled, residents with dementia often do really well. There's less confusion about where to go, fewer hallways to get lost in, familiar faces every day. This is actually one of my specialties, matching families with the right memory care environment based on their loved one's specific needs and personality, because one size definitely does not fit all. Number five, budget conscious families. Real talk. Residential care homes are often 1,000 to 2,500 per month less expensive than traditional assisted living or memory care facilities. You're getting better care for less money because you're not paying for the fancy lobby, the fitness center, the movie theater, or the full-time activity director. And listen, if you're a veteran or surviving spouse of a veteran, we need to talk about aid and attendance benefits. I've helped dozens of Austin families access 1,700 plus per month to help cover these costs. Text me at 737-389-2130 and let's see if you qualify. Now, let me be honest about who might not thrive in this setting. Social butterflies who love activities and events. If your mom lives for bingo tournaments with 50 people, book club, and concert performances, a residential care home might feel too quiet. People needing specialized medical care, most residential care homes don't have nurses on staff 24/7. If your loved one needs complex medical management, a skilled nursing facility might be better. People requiring two-person transfers, some smaller homes can't accommodate residents who need two staff members to safely transfer them. I'll never forget showing a residential care home to a daughter who was adamant that her dad needed the best, and to her, the best meant the biggest, fanciest community with every amenity. I finally said, "Let me just show you one small home. If you hate it, we'll never talk about it again." Y'all, we walked in, and her dad, who'd barely spoken in weeks, immediately perked up. Why? Because it smelled like real cooking, not cafeteria food, but actual home cooked pot roast in a slow cooker. The caregiver came out, called him by name, shook his hand, and said, "We're making pot roast for dinner. You like pot roast?" He smiled for the first time in months. That's the power of small personal care. And that's what I love about this work, finding those perfect fit moments that change everything. All right, if you're considering a residential care home for your loved one, you need to know what to look for. Not all homes are created equal, and you've got to do your homework. But don't worry, I'm about to give you my professional checklist that I use with every single client. First thing first, confirm they are licensed in Texas. You can look this up on the Health and Human Services website. Make sure they're licensed for the level of care your loved one needs, whether that's type A assisted living or type B memory care. Ask to see their most recent inspection report. Every facility gets inspected, and those reports are public record. Look for patterns. Are there repeated violations or just minor paperwork issues? Big difference. And hey, if you don't want to dig through government websites yourself, call me. 737-389-2130. I literally have this information at my fingertips for residential care homes throughout Austin and the surrounding areas. That's what I'm here for. When you walk in, does it smell clean? I'm not talking about covered up with air freshener clean. I'm talking about generally fresh and sanitary. Are walkways clear of clutter? Are handrails and grab bars installed? Is the home well lit? Are there working smoke detectors and fire extinguishers? Is there a clear emergency exit plan? Staffing. This is critical. Ask, what's the staff to resident ratio? During the day and overnight, how long have staff members been working here? High turnover is a red flag. What's the training process for new staff? Are they trained in dementia care? Are they CPR certified? Who's responsible overnight? Is someone awake and alert, or are they sleeping? Watch how staff interact with residents. Are they patient? Do they make eye contact? Do they speak respectfully, or do they talk down to residents like children? This is exactly the kind of thing I watch for when I tour communities on behalf of my clients because I know what questions to ask and what behaviors to look for. Ask to see a sample menu. Is the food varied and appetizing? Do they accommodate special diets, diabetic, low sodium, texture modified? Even better, if ask if you can stay for a meal during your tour. The quality and presentation of food tells you a lot about how much they care about residents' daily experience. Activities and engagement. Even in small homes, there should be some level of engagement. It doesn't need to be a packed activities calendar, but residents shouldn't just be parked in front of a TV all day. Ask, what does a typical day look like? Do residents go on outings? Is there mental stimulation, puzzles, music, conversation? How do you handle residents with different mobility or cognitive levels? Medical coordination. Who manages medication? What's the system for ensuring accuracy? How do they communicate with family members about health changes? What's the protocol if someone needs to go to the ER? Who coordinates with doctors and specialists? The vibe check. This is a thing that nobody puts on a checklist, but it matters. When you walk in, do residents look content? Do they look engaged? Or do they look bored, lonely, or neglected? Is there laughter, conversation, music playing? Does it feel like a home or does it feel like a warehouse where people are just waiting? Y'all, I cannot stress this enough. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. If the owner is defensive when you ask questions, that's a problem. If they rush you through the tour, that's a problem. If they won't let you talk to current residents or families, that's a major problem. The right home will welcome your questions. They'll be proud to show you around. They'll want you to meet residents and staff. And listen, this is exactly why families hire me to help them. I've toured hundreds of communities throughout Austin. I know what good looks like, and I know what red flags look like. You don't have to figure this out alone. Shoot me a text 737-389-2130 or email me at stella@stellawilliamstx.com and let's schedule some tours together. Let's talk money because I know that's what everyone's thinking but nobody wants to ask. But I'm going to talk about it because transparency is everything when you're making these decisions. Average cost in Austin as of 2025. Here's what you're typically looking at for residential care homes in the Austin area. A standard residential assisted living shared room, 3,500 to 5,500 a month. A residential private room, 4,500 to 6,500 a month. A residential memory care, 5,000 to 7,000 a month. Compare that to traditional assisted living facilities. Traditional assisted living is 5,000 to 7,500. Traditional memory care, 6,500 to 9,500 a month. You're saving anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 per month. Over a year, that's 12 to 36,000 in saving. Now I work with families at every budget level, and I can tell you, these cost differences matter. They can be the difference between affording care for 2 years versus 5 years. That's significant. Most residential care homes include room and board, 3 meals a day plus snacks, medication management, personal care assistance, bathing, dressing, toileting, laundry service, housekeeping, basic activities, and socialization. So, what's typically extra is the incontinence supplies, specialized medical supplies, transportation to appointments. Some include, some don't include that. Haircut salon services, cable TV in the room. Payment options for them. Most residential care homes accept private pay, which is most common, long term care insurance if policy covers assisted living, veterans aid and attendance benefits. This is huge for qualifying vets or surviving spouses. Medicaid waiver programs. In Texas, this is a SAR Plus program, but not all homes accept it. Okay, real talk about veterans aid and attendance benefits because this is one of my favorite things to help families with. If your loved one is a veteran or the surviving spouse of a veteran, you could qualify for up to 1781 per month for a surviving spouse or 2229 per month for a veteran to help pay for care. And so many families have no idea this benefit exists. I'm a veteran owned business and helping veteran families access these benefits they've earned is literally one of the most rewarding parts of my job. So if you're a veteran or military family, please reach out. Text me at 737-389-2130 or visit my website at stellawilliamstx.com and let's figure out if you qualify. Moving into a residential care home is usually much simpler than a big facility. You tour the home, meet the owner, operator, and current residents. The assessment, they'll do a health assessment to ensure they can meet your loved one's needs. Contract signing. Review the residency agreement carefully. Move-in coordination. Usually you can move in within days, not weeks. What to bring. Clothing labeled with name. Personal photos and small mementos. Favorite chair or bedding, if space allows. Toiletries and personal care items. Medical records and medication lists. Okay, what not to bring. Large furniture, because space is limited. Valuables or expensive jewelry. Too many belongings. You want to declutter first. I know these costs feel overwhelming. Believe me, I get it. I'm managing my mom's care at home right now and I see the bills. But here's the thing, residential care homes often give better quality care for less money than the alternatives. And my service is completely free to families. The communities pay me, not you. So you get expert guidance, personalized tours, and advocacy throughout the entire process at absolutely no cost to you. That's how this works. And this is pretty amazing. Okay, so now for the part that nobody likes to talk about, but everyone needs to hear. Not all residential homes are good. Some are amazing, some are not. Let me give you the red flags I watch for when I'm touring communities with families. Red flag number one, unlicensed or operating outside their license. If they can't show you current valid licensing, run. If they're caring for more residents than their license allows, run. This is non negotiable. Red flag number two, defensive or evasive owners. If you ask to see inspection reports and they get weird about it, problem. If they won't let you talk to current families, problem. If they rush you through the tour, problem. Good operators are proud of their homes and want you to ask questions. Red flag number three, the high staff turnover. If you tour twice and see completely different staff both times, that's a concern. Ask the owner, how long has your current team been with you? If they can't give you straight answers, dig deeper. Red flag number two, residents look neglected. Are residents clean and well groomed? Are they dressed appropriately? Do they look cared for? If residents are sitting in soiled clothing, if they smell of urine, if they look disheveled, that's neglect. Period. Red flag number five, vague or confusing contracts. The residency agreement should be clear about monthly costs and what's included, what triggers additional fees, move out procedure and notice requirements, what happens if care needs change. If the contract is intentionally vague or the owner won't explain terms, don't sign. And honestly, this is where having someone like me on your side is invaluable. I review contracts with families all the time. I know what's standard and what's sketchy. I can spot the fine print that might cause problems down the road. That's part of the service. Red flag number six, isolation from family. If they discourage family visits, restrict visiting hours unreasonably, or make you feel unwelcome, that's a huge red flag. Good homes want family involvement. Red flag number seven, poor communication. If they don't return your calls, don't update you about health changes, or you have to chase them down for basic information, that's how they'll treat your loved one when they live there. Listen, I've seen bad situations. I've helped families move loved ones out of homes that look fine on paper but were neglectful in practice. The best protection, stay involved. Visit regularly and at different times, including unannounced visits. Talk to your loved one. Watch for changes in their physical condition or mood. Build relationships with the staff so they know you're paying attention. And if something feels wrong, trust that feeling. It's better to move someone twice than to leave them somewhere unsafe. And you know what? If you ever feel like something's not right but you're not sure, call me. Seriously, 737-389-2130. I will talk you through it. I will help you figure it out if it's a red flag or just adjustment anxiety. That's what I'm here for. All right, so you're sold on an idea of residential care homes. Now, how do you actually find the good ones? Let me give you my top resources. Okay, I'm going to plug my own resources here because it's amazing. TourSeniorLiving.org is a searchable database of senior living communities throughout Austin and the greater Austin metro area. You can filter specifically for residential care homes, see the photos, read descriptions, and get contact information. It's completely free to use and it's like the Zillow of senior living. Head to tourseniorliving.org right now and start exploring your options. The second resource is you go to hhs.texas.gov and search for licensed assisted living facilities. You can filter by size. Small homes will be under 16 beds and location, and you can also view inspection reports here. Resource number three, you call me directly. Y'all, this is literally what I do for a living. I know the residential care homes in Austin. I know which ones are exceptional and which ones to avoid. I've toured them. I've built relationships with the owners and I've placed clients there. And here's the best part. My services are free to families. The communities pay me, not you, so you get expert guidance at no cost. Text me at 737-389-2130. Email me at stella@stellawilliamstx.com. You can also visit stellawilliamstx.com. Seriously, I make this process so much easier. Instead of spending weeks researching and touring on your own, I can narrow down your top 3 to 5 options based on your loved one's specific needs, budget, and preferences. Then we tour together and I help you ask the right questions. Resource number four, word of mouth. Ask your parents' doctors, their home health agency, their physical therapists. Healthcare professionals know which homes have good reputations. Resource number five, support groups. Join local caregiver support groups, either in person or on Facebook. Ask, has anyone used a small residential care home in Austin? Any recommendations? Here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to figure this out alone. There are people like me whose entire job is to help families navigate these decisions. I'm here in Austin. I'm available 7 days a week. I respond to texts and calls quickly because I know when you're dealing with a crisis placement or a difficult decision, you need answers now, not 3 days from now. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to tour multiple homes. Don't be afraid to ask hard questions. Your loved one deserves the best care possible. And sometimes that best care is in a small family style home that most people have never heard of. Let me help you find it. Let me tell you about 3 families I've worked with who chose residential care homes and why it was a perfect fit. These are real Austin families, and these stories show the power of finding the right environment. Story number one, Mr. Frank, the veteran who found his tribe. Mr. Frank was a Vietnam veteran with moderate dementia. His daughter was trying to care for him at home, but he was wandering at night, getting combative when confused, and she was exhausted. We toured a few traditional memory care communities, but they felt too sterile, too institutional. Mr. Frank would shut down completely during tours. Then we visited a small residential care home specifically for veterans, run by a former Army medic. 6 residents, all veterans. They ate breakfast together and swapped old war stories, some real, some creative, thanks to dementia. Mr. Frank walked in, saw the American flag on the wall and photos of military service, and immediately relaxed. The owner shook his hand and said, "Thank you for your service, sir. We'd be honored to have you join us." Y'all, Mr. Frank smiled. First time in months. He moved in 2 days later. Within a week, he was calling the other residents his unit. He had purpose again. He had camaraderie. He had a family, and because he was a veteran, we were able to get him aid and attendance benefits that covered a huge portion of the monthly cost. His daughter could finally breathe again. Story number two, Miss Rosa, the homebody who needed care. Miss Rosa had early stage Alzheimer's and hated the idea of going to a home. She'd raised 7 kids in her house. She'd hosted every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering in that kitchen. Her kids were terrified she'd fall or forget to turn off the stove, but they also knew putting her in a big facility would crush her spirit. We found a residential care home by a woman who reminded Miss Rosa of her own daughter. The home had a big kitchen where residents could help prepare meals. It had a back porch with rocking chairs. It felt like home. Miss Rosa moved in, and within days she was back in her element, helping set the table, folding napkins, giving cooking advice, whether asked for or not. She had 4 roommates instead of 80. She knew everyone's names. She felt useful again. The owner would call her kids and say, "Your mom made tortillas today and bossed us all around in the kitchen." She was thriving. That's what the right fit looks like. All right, let's wrap this up with the key takeaways because I know y'all have a lot to think about. Residential care homes are small, family style environments, 4 to 16 residents, often more affordable than traditional assisted living, better staff to resident ratios, more personalized attentive care, perfect for people who are overwhelmed by large communities, great for early to moderate dementia, licensed and regulated just like larger facilities. They're not right for everyone, but for the right person, they can be life changing. Here's what I want you to do. Step 1, head to tourcenterliving.org and start exploring residential care homes in Austin and the surrounding areas. Get a feel for what's out there. Step 2, if you're feeling overwhelmed or you want expert guidance, reach out to me. Text me 737-389-2130. Email me at stella@stellawilliamstx.com or go to stellawilliamstx.com website. I offer free consultations, free tours, and free guidance throughout the entire placement process. My goal is to help you find the best fit for your loved one, not just the first available bed. Step 3, if you're a veteran or surviving spouse of a veteran, let's talk. You might qualify for aid and attendance benefits that can help cover the cost of care. I help families navigate that process all the time. Step 4, don't wait until it's a crisis. Start researching now. Tour communities before you desperately need one. The best decisions are made when you have time to think, not when you're panicking in the hospital discharge meeting. Y'all, I care for my mom at home every single day. I understand the exhaustion. I understand the guilt. I understand the overwhelming feeling of how do I make the right choice. But here's the truth. There is the right choice for your family, and sometimes it's a small, cozy residential care home that feels like the family home you remember from childhood. Let me help you find it. I'm Stella Williams, Senior Placement Advocate, and I'm here in Austin to serve families just like yours. This is what I do, this is my calling, and I'd be honored to walk this journey with you. Until next time, keep advocating, keep asking questions, and remember, you're not alone in this. Take care of yourself so you can take care of them. I'll see you all next week.